and so I would encourage
What's
people
up,
to
everybody?
look at some of the Tolly's tweets or mine, and you can see that fees are actually increasing pretty fast, which is kind of tackles that argument head on. But more importantly, this is something that can always be changed later, right? I think a big problem is like optimizing for profit margins before finding PMF, right? What you want to do
Sharing
is
the live.
obviously not
1 second.
and you want to give people freedom to experiment. You want to experiment. You want to gather data. Once there's something that works, and then maybe you can tweak some parameters to make it better. And like for example, Ethereum has EIP 1559, but like that didn't go live the first day of Ethereum. That went live like 6 years after Ethereum started. Okay, and Ethereum is not even always deflationary, by the way. People just assume it's just always deflationary. That's not the case. And I don't even think it's it's. I'm not even convinced that deflation is actually the right thing to aim for here as well. Like, is that something you aim for, or is it like just an emergent property that you're okay with?
I didn't understand anything being said in that podcast, by the way. Just trying to learn some stuff so I can get fucking rich. My hair looks like a rat's nest. What's up, Jinxie? Okay, this is working. I'm siphoning Wi-Fi off my hotel after checkout in Tennessee. Hey, Jinxie, baby. Jinx, am I coming through okay? Is this working? Am I getting the strong enough sig? Perfect. Hell yeah. Wow. Okay. What's up, Jinx? What's up, Angelique? Oh, Angelique in the house early. Angelique, I'm checking out the new avatar too. Jinx, you should have an avatar of your body also. I mean, I'm doing this live shirtless for something's sake. The two girls in here loving it. Hell yeah. Yeah, I just got a little pump this morning. Just got a little fucking pump. In this gym. And it wasn't really a pump. Might as well come clean about that now. I walked on a treadmill and did some pull-ups while I drank coffee and watched a Bill Maher interview with Jordan Peterson. And then I jerked off. And my heart rate probably got higher during the jerk sesh than it did in the gym. Who makes the rules that it has to be the other way? Why can't the beat off be the workout? Oh, am I still? Let me know if I'm skipping out here. I could probably get closer to the router that was coming out of my old bedroom. I didn't know you loved. Yeah, we watched Dr. Pimple Popper on YouTube. Try mago worms and tonsil stones. What? I don't know. What's up, Father? Good to see you, dude. I should probably get into this this court case thing. What's up? But Jinx, if I'm gonna watch pimple popping footage on YouTube, it's gonna be the cream of the crop. It's gonna be the Mr. Beast of pimple popping, Dr. Pimple Popper. I'm not gonna get down into your half-assed English replicas. All right, you guys led the way with rock and roll. Well, after you stole a bunch of shit from us, that's sort of how it's going right now with mango worms and tonsil stones. You're stealing from our black blues artists. You're stealing from Chuck Berry, okay? And you're putting out the Rolling Stones, the tonsil stones. I love the English rock bands. I can't talk shit. If beating off is a workout, then I'm an athlete. Hell yeah. All right, guys, I guess I'm going to talk a little bit right now for people who are coming to the live to see about the court stuff. There's some good and some bad. So I'll just break it down. You went on Invest Answers altcoins. Yeah, I was listening to that podcast when I started up the live here. IPAC, I did buy Solana when Invest Answers told me to. So I got Solana pretty low. I got it around $20. I got a good amount of Solana and it went up to like $75. But let's talk about the court thing. So you guys probably know it was well publicized on the podcast, on here, on the main channel, that I got arrested here in Tennessee back in August for impersonating a dental hygienist. I got thrown in jail, and it was a Class E felony I was charged with, but the law was really being misinterpreted. I mean, technically, I had violated a law, but I hadn't violated the spirit of that law, which is to keep rogue plastic surgeons from doing dangerous for-profit surgeries on paying customers. And I was shooting a YouTube video, and I put a mirror near a woman's mouth during a bit that was about the abuses of the big food industry on people in poor parts of America. So the DA, I guess, didn't like me. And a lot of people out here didn't like me in the court system, but the DA wouldn't drop down to a lower level of punishment, a misdemeanor, for instance, even though like the arresting officer wanted that. The judge seemed perfectly happy to do that, but the DA wanted me to get charged with a felony. The one good thing was that I was able to negotiate, or my attorney was able to negotiate probation instead of spending any time in jail. So the plan was to be on probation for a year. And if I violate probation, I have to make up the balance of that time in jail. So the clock started yesterday. So now I am going to be on probation for a year, and I can't commit any relatively serious crimes within that window, or I will go to jail. And I am not planning on doing that. So there's not much likelihood I'm going to go to jail. The bad news, though, was when the probation started, and this is why we pushed back this court date from October, when it was originally slated, to now in December, was that there was a possibility that I was going to have to spend 2 months in Tennessee while the probation transferred from Tennessee to California. And my attorney was telling me that it might take 2 months. I called the California probation department, and they told me that it also might take 2 months. The lady I spoke to over there was not very helpful at all. And in retrospect, I should have just called back and spoken to somebody else or called the Tennessee department. So I showed up here in Tennessee 2 days ago, and I had a 9 a.m. court call time, which is 6 a.m. California time. So I wake up, I meet with my attorney, we go to the courts, and I thought it was going to be pretty routine. Like, I just kind of stand there, and my attorney speaks, and I say, "Yes, I do, Your Honor," sign some paperwork, and we were going to be out. And my attorney had drafted up a work release order where the judge would thereby sign off on that and permit me to leave Tennessee so I could go work in California. But when I got on the stand, things were going smooth. But then 2 women from the dental clinic, they wanted to get up and make a statement after I had been on the stand, basically agreeing to the terms of the probation. And their statements were really fiery and basically enraged the judge. And I'm not totally sure why they wanted to go in so hard, because one of the women I'd apologized to in person when we were in court the last time, and I had offered to do some sort of fundraiser with them and help make up for it. But I don't know, she didn't seem to care about that anymore. And she got up there and said that I had disrespected the court on multiple occasions online, which is not true at all. If you watch all of my footage, there's nothing that I've ever said that was negative about the court or the law enforcement officers. And then she proceeded to really make it seem like my whole purpose of that video and the whole purpose of my channel was like mocking poor people, which the purpose of that video was to expose how big soda companies and big food exploit poor people in Tennessee, not to exploit poor people themselves with my content. That's not what we were doing. And a lot of my, in the video I put out, the why Danny Mullen got arrested and went to jail video that I shot in Austin's office with the animations, that at the end, I talked about how I'd gained a new perspective from all this and was much more sympathetic to the cause of the poor in the criminal justice system. So it's not like I was out there mocking the court and my experiences out here. They also brought up the merch, the Danny Mullen not guilty shirt. But I mean, that was just to help pay off some of the legal bills. And I mean, it's a cool shirt. I like that's like my favorite merch shirt. I wear it all the time. But and then a lot of the channel, like I mean the USC video, a lot of our strike videos recently have been about economic exploitation of the poor. So I fundamentally reject that we exist to make fun of poor people. We film with a lot of poor people because it gets clicks, and it's a lot easier if you put a camera on a poor person and you have a conversation with them. They're a lot more interesting to talk to than if I went onto Wall Street or I walked around downtown San Francisco and started interviewing people with blockchain startups. Rich people hate cameras, whereas the poor are very willing to talk. So that's why there's a bias of filming around poor people in our videos. But yeah, the judge basically laid into me saying that it was disgusting that I was making fun of poor people. And I think he just thought it was like, hey, you're poor, screw you, poor person in this dental clinic, which it wasn't at all. But I was so like underslept and stunned that this was happening because I had no idea there were going to be testimonies from other people during this process that I wasn't able to really mount any kind of rebuttal. My attorney discouraged me from speaking anyway. In retrospect, it would have been nice to just respectfully explain my side of the story in court, but the judge was very angry with me and didn't want to sign any kind of paperwork for work release. That's the bad news. The bad news is the court here hates me. The good news is the probation people were very, very nice here in Tennessee, and they informed me that it's not going to be 2 months I'm going to be spending in Tennessee. They said that California, by law, can take no more than 3 days to respond to their probation request. And California already called me last night and told me that it's going to be approved, but there was just a misspelling on my address. So they're going to rerun it today, and I should be able to leave the state of Tennessee today. So that's the big news, and that's the good news, is that I can go home to California for Christmas for my little vacation I'm taking, and then to get to work for next year. So yeah, I'm excited that I get to go home. So that's nice. Yeah, it's a little frustrating. I guess I didn't realize until now how much room there is for personal bias to enter into the courts, and that's with and without a jury trial. Just a judge is looking over the case. He has a lot of leeway about how to charge you. The DA has a lot of leeway about how to charge you based on their perception of you. And then obviously with the jury trial, a lot of subjective shit comes into play when it comes to jury trials too. So, if a jury if you're just the kind of person who is popularly disdained in the media or in a region, you're not going to get a fair shake when it comes to a jury trial. So, which I'm not going to have to deal with a jury trial. We forewent all of that with this plea bargain. But yeah, I wish I had an opportunity to explain to the judge one-on-one a little bit more about what we do. I think he would hate me less. And but I'm free to go back to California, albeit on probation. So that's basically what's going on. I am in Greenville, Tennessee, I believe. I'm at a nice Hampton Inn. There's the logo right there, Hampton Inn. Over here, we have some sort of gas station that probably also sells fried chicken. I went to Applebee's last night. This is not that small of a town. It's a tiny town. What am I saying? But they do have modern amenities like a Target and a Big Lots and well, that's about it. maybe a Big Five, and then pretty much it's just Chipotle's and Applebee's, which is where I ate last night. I ate Applebee's. I got a ribeye steak with broccoli. So I've been trying to keep up my health. I told you I was jerking off and I was going to the gym, sort of. So, fucking working on it. All right, guys, I'm getting back to the chat now. Oh, the debaucherous hands. The debaucherous fucking hands are in. IPAC, invest answers altcoins. I bought a little bit of render and injective because Invest Answers told me to. And I didn't put nearly enough in. I put like literally $25 into both of those coins, and they went up like an obscene amount. So yeah, that guy's usually pretty spot on. Papa Boat, I saw some crazy shit with RDR a few days ago. Did you have to pepper spray his little dick ass? Yes, I did, because we explain it pretty extensively, Papa Boat, on the new podcast, and he also probably captures a lot of it on his YouTube vlog. But I mean, he's doing hard drugs again, which is disappointing. He says it's just Molly, but when he's on Molly, it might as well be methamphetamine as far as how it makes him just, his eyes get fucking gigantic and he can't track or have a real conversation. So, yeah, it's a little discouraging. He came to a show on hard drugs, on uppers, best case Molly, worst case methamphetamine, and was basically just super drunk and methed out and disruptive. So I did have to shoot him in the dick with pepper spray. He completely consented to it too. He agreed that it was a worthy punishment for what he had done. And then on the podcast, he showed up on the podcast on Molly too, which was it's not really the energy, because when Ratic is sober, you still hear about all of his antics and the ins and outs of his fractured life, but in an relatively intelligent way. He's very candid and honest about it and kind of humble about his shortcomings. So he's a fascinated guest or vlog subject when he's sober. But when he's on methamphetamine, he becomes megalomaniacal and just thinks he's God. And all he will talk about is just standard rat dick talking points, namely his dick and his dick cheese. That's all he'll really talk about when he's on uppers. So he's much less interesting and he won't really listen anymore. So yeah, I had to spray his little dick ass, Papa Boat, at the show. And I think I'm going to carry from now on my tear gas pepper spray. No mango worms in England. Okay. I don't know what mango worms is exactly. Danny, we need longer Patreon pods and more controversy. Oh, yeah. I mean, that'd be nice if there was more controversy. I don't really want to, and I don't really, not sure how able to I am generate controversy out of thin air. We just kind of talk about controversy that there is. And yeah, the Patreon pod this week I had to do on the phone because I was traveling all day, starting at 7 a.m. to like midnight in Tennessee time from California to Tennessee. So I had to do it over the phone, but it was still a good pod. Longer Patreon pods. Yeah, I'm still trying to work out my weekly schedule, McGraven, because I've got a lot of obligations as far as podcasts and as far as a lot of other stuff. So yeah, I'm just trying to make everything fit into my schedule, and just doing like a tight hour to hour and 15-minute Patreon pod. It seems to me like it can be higher quality that way because it's easier to be on for an hour and 15 minutes versus just doing like a meandering product. I feel like quality is probably better than quantity when it comes to podcasts. There are already so many fucking podcasts out there, and I don't want to waste people's time with one where we bring Dino on and have 30 minutes of inane conversation about baseness and gayness. So, yeah, we just try to keep them short and sweet. What's up, the Groping Hand? Good to see you, buddy. I fucking back the Groping Hand, dude. The Groping Hand is the fucking... He's the goat of groping. I mean, was there ever any doubt? He's the fucking man, dude. IPAC, dude, is fucking IPAC got himself some Solana. Yeah, it's as far as investing. When I first started investing, I talked about it a lot, how I was pretty conservative in just S&P 500. But with a little digging, you can learn about investments that are going to make you much greater returns. And it's I don't know, it's as of right now, it's worked out for me as far as doing some digging to find out that, like, hey, if you sprinkle some money into tech stocks, they're going to vastly outperform the S&P 500. I still mostly have the S&P 500, just boring index funds, but you can supercharge your gains by getting a company like Tesla, which is super undervalued and which is selling more cars than anybody else, certainly more EVs than any fucking buddy else. It's got the number one best-selling car in the world, and they're less than 5 years away from mastering a technology that's going to make every single car autonomous and drive itself. And then that's going to get licensed by every car company. If you do the research, that becomes pretty clear. Or something like Bitcoin, where the government inflates the US dollar like it's a fucking Chuck E. Cheese coupon, and banks do shady shit and fail all the time, and it takes fucking forever to send money, and you can't do it on the weekends. Clearly, crypto technology is disruptive. And once I did enough research into that, I was like, all right, it's pretty obvious this is going a certain direction. So yeah, I think that you dig into this stuff with a channel like Invest Answers, which is great financial information. And, this long story short, IPAC and I make some fucking money on obscure altcoins, dude. That's how it goes. I don't want to get too much sun here. Getting my vitamin D in. It's like my dad texts me. Might have to check my phone occasionally. I'm also expecting a call from the California Probation Department. The Dentist Coalition is out for your head, Aiden. Yeah, dentists. I've heard they have the highest suicide rate. Dentists, and that doesn't distress me too much after all they've done to me. The Dentist Coalition. No, I'm joking. I do not want any dentists to kill themselves. One second, guys. I'm gonna set up a little umbrella over here. I'm gonna get my shade. I've been into biohacking lately. I've been getting sun and taking cold showers and fucking not eating seed oils. How does this work? Oh, I got it. Bam. I'm going to get clothing back on. Jinx, did I freeze? I'm trying to think if I froze. Protecting my computer from the sun. Papa Boat, saw your merch. You're taxing fat people like myself $2 extra for more cloth. Papa Boat, you're not that fat. These run a little large too, so like the 2XL fit Bailey from the Seattle videos, who's a giant. I wear an extra large, but yeah, I'm sorry, dude. That's good. $2 extra is a pittance compared to what you're taxing the taxpayer and your medical bills down the road, Papa Boat. Okay, because I'm paying for your diabetes medication. Thank you, Jinx. Hopefully, I'm not freezing too much or not during anything important. Next year's Christmas party is going to be a rager once you can commit crimes again. Yeah. I can't wait to be able to commit crimes again. That's going to be fucking awesome. Cuz nothing says deck the halls like felonies. So, yeah, maybe some burglaries. Definitely a DUI in my future. Come next Yuletide. Building a cabin on this cold ass morning. Zacadelic, you are? Hell yeah, dude. Just listening to it on your phone. Yeah, Zacadelic's in Tennessee too. It is cold out here. It's very Christmassy. The town that I went to court in had a bunch of nativity scenes set up in the park. It was cool. It feels more holiday-y than LA does. I mean, LA, it's mostly menorahs and dreidels this time of year. And the Jews are afraid to put those out for fear of reprisal right now in Los Angeles. So it's very a-religious. It's very secular down in LA. Jules, I got my hoodie last week. Hope all the best. But thank you so much, Jules, for grabbing one of those. I need to get a hoodie in the Aga Ramos Pinocha design because all I have is my mugshot one. And it's so comfortable. The hoodies are fucking amazing that we're selling on our merch site. But I got to get one that doesn't have my fucking face on it in case I don't want to go out and be a huge asshole once and again. Zacadelic, my Nico shirt came. Fuck yeah, dude. Nico pulled the trigger on the mailing the stuff for Christmas. That's good. That fucking Grinch, his heart grew a couple sizes. If only his wee-wee would. Russell, no problem, dude. Russell, yeah, I explained the court situation at the top. Maybe you saw that. And everybody's welcome to rewatch that to hear about what's happening out here in Tennessee. Fingers crossed I can leave today. Yeah, Jules, it could be a lot fucking worse, dude. Thanks, Russell. Yeah, it could be a lot worse, man. I watched a documentary last night on Miami super jails, and holy fuck, dude. I will say, compared to some jails, I know my jail was very dingy, but the people in my cell block were pretty fucking kind and peaceful, which is the number one priority. And what I watched last night about these Miami mega jails, there's like 8 murderers sharing one cavern, like one cavern of a jail. And people are getting the shit beat out of them constantly. Like a guy who got put into jail for driving without a license is in with a bunch of murderers outside of Miami. And then they show him the next day and his face is swollen up like he got attacked by a horde of African bees. And of course, he can't say anything or blame anybody for it because then he'll just get the shit beat out of him more. He's like, yeah, I don't know what happened. I fell in the shower. Fuck that. I mean, not only are your comforts of the world taken away from you, but your day is dedicated to not getting your fucking ass beat. Yeah, no, thank you. At least this jail in Hawkins County is peaceful. It's just a bunch of drug addicts. I think Ken from the Rating UCLA, speaking Chinese, smoking a cigarette in the courtroom could resolve this matter. It couldn't hurt. Well, maybe it could hurt because he had a Black Lives Matter t-shirt on in that video, which they would hate here. And which is why they should fucking like me, because I've done so many like pro-police, like fuck the insane brainwashing on campus videos. He had the Black Lives Matter shirt, but also they probably don't love the Chinese here. So yeah, maybe they would not like Ken coming in and speaking only Mandarin or Cantonese or whatever. Great video, by the way. It's one of those ones that holds up. So the I found my high school videos video from that time hold up. That one does too. It's got a lot of good jokes in it. It's ballsy. It's disruptive. It's got that funny element with Ken and his Chinese buddy. Good video. Smoking cigarettes at UCLA from fall 2018. What's up, Cookie Monster? Thank you, Russell. Russell showing some love, said he's glad that it worked out. So yeah, he did hear what's going on. Aiden, by the way, not sure if you saw this already, but I'm a delivery driver, so I deal with dogs all day. Do not pepper spray them. You can get in legal trouble. Use wasp spray or hairspray. You'll be fine. First of all, and I want to say I've never pepper sprayed a dog. I've never done that. Any accusations about that are unfounded, and I would only ever do so in self-defense. I maintain that. But I mean, if a dog's attacking you, you can definitely fucking pepper spray something to protect yourself, right? I wonder. I mean, it would just be my luck that I would pepper spray a dog in self-defense, Aiden, and go to jail for it. It seems like the only things I'm ever going to get in trouble for in life are going to be just ridiculous, fake dental work, pepper spraying a dog kind of things. Russell told RDR to lay off the Molly. Good stuff, dude. Russell, it's crazy. Big Che's leg isn't looking too good. Yeah, it's hard to know, man. I mean, obviously, Big Che isn't in the best of health, but I don't know much about his daily drug intake. And it's hard to know if, like, for instance, when Rat Dick Ralph just uploaded this video of Rat Dick Ralph, or excuse me, of Big Che vomiting a bunch, it's hard to know if that's like a diabetes leg infection complication and he needs to go to the ER, or if they took some bad acid the night before on top of drinking like 18 beers. Like, I just don't know whether to be. I mean, I'm generally worried about Big Che and Rat Dick 100%, but I don't know whether to be like acutely, immediately worried about their health. Talk about fucking living life on the edge, dude. Holy shit. Just doing Molly on a Monday for the pod. Like I did when I just graduated college. That's when I had a slight drug phase. And, I mean, a slight drug phase meaning like 3 times a year or maybe 4 times a year, I would do Molly or Coke while I was out partying. And I felt like a huge piece of shit, but I can't imagine popping a Molly, which when you're doing that, you're agreeing to lose a significant amount of brain cells. You're like agreeing to play Russian roulette with fentanyl. You're making that deal, and it just seems like that deal might potentially be worth it on New Year's Eve when you're 25 and single and trying to get blown by, I don't know, a chick with some big tits and a ski jacket. That seems like it might be worth it, but to hang out with Big Che and me and Leo on a Monday afternoon, it just, I wouldn't find it worth it. But Ratik's math is different than mine, and his risk tolerance is clearly higher. Thank you, Angelique. Appreciate that. Let me keep my phone propped up so I can see a call coming in from the California Probation Department. It was good to see Johnny back. Yeah, it was good to have Johnny back. I'm always interested to talk to stand-up comedians. Now that I have such a more appreciation for stand-up comedy, it's good that I like to talk to other comedians about it, which is probably not very good podcasting. And so that podcast might be very boring to some people. I just listened to Nick Mullen stand-up special, and it was fucking excellent. It's on YouTube if you guys want to listen to a good stand-up special. I think you guys will all like it. Maybe one of my favorites I've listened to this year. It was fucking excellent. Nick Mullen doing the Mullen name proud. It was the kind of special that, like, I would want to write. As far as content, it was definitely shit. It's if you like my channel and the kind of like political news element to my channel, you'll love that special. Aiden is saying that there are times at his job where he'll drop off a package and have to turn the podcast down because of how many times y'all say rape. I'm going to get in trouble one of these days. Damn it. Could you AirPod it? That reminds me of King Croc trying to get chicks and numbers when he would deliver food to their door when he was like a DoorDash guy. The least professional move ever. And yeah, I'm sorry about that. Aiden, I'm going to talk to Leo about that. I'm going to talk to Leo about toning down that language so that you don't lose your job. I also got to talk to Leo about AdSense. We should probably make a more concerted effort to not say that word within like the first 6 seconds, because that might have some consequences for our monetization. Last pod was hilarious, so thank you, Jules. IPAC is saying his Solana bag is 20K right now. Good for you, IPAC. Everything he talks about does like 100% overnight. Yeah. Basically, that guy Invest Answers, pretty much everything he said to do, sometimes I don't have the balls to do it. Like when Tesla was at 106 and it seemed like a Tesla stock apocalypse, I pushed out and didn't really buy that much. But if you had, you would be just so fucking well off right now. So yeah, his batting average is pretty fucking nuts, dude. The Invest Answers channel. That being said, IPAC, congratulations, dude. That's a fucking big Solana bag. I don't know if that's a small percentage relative to the rest of your portfolio, in which case you're doing very well in life. But yeah, maybe take some of those winnings off the table, just in case Solana doesn't continue. But it seems I'm very optimistic about Solana. But fuck yeah, dude. Look at that. IPAC, 20 grand in Solana. Is everybody jealous? Zachadelic's probably jealous. Zacadelic, he was buying Bitcoin during the bear, though. He knows what's up. Is there anything you can do for RDR, even if it may seem as a hopeless effort? Linus, Tai Lopez, the infamous internet huckster, who I actually think is fascinating. I've been listening to Tai Lopez podcasts, and he's like spellbinding to hear that guy talk. But he said that sometimes getting people to change is like trying to move a pig. I forget what the exact quote is. Like it doesn't work and it bugs the hell out of the pig. And I don't mean to call Ratic a pig, but there is like all you can do when it comes to changing people is let them know that you think there's a better alternative and then demonstrate that alternative with your own actions. I have tried many times with people, behind the scenes on the channel. I've had like hearts to hearts with a lot of people on the channel and who are both employees and also talent on the channel. And there's one thing I've learned. It's really hard to get people to do something that they aren't ready to do yet. Whether that's sobriety or exercise or changes in their financials and careers, you can point people in the right direction, but at some point they're going to have to want to make that change for themselves and then start putting it into effect. That's why like getting people sober who are alcoholics or are drug addicts is fucking really hard. That's why so many people relapse all the time. I mean, look at fucking Bam Margera right now, dude. Like that guy's got all the money in the world. So many friends who are like literal sobriety coaches like Steve-O and Brandon Novak. And he's just had a fucking public 10-year battle with it. And that's why there's this huge homelessness fentanyl epidemic in our country. Clearly, these people know that what they're doing isn't getting them closer to prosperity, but they just don't care. Their apathy and desire for drugs and poverty is stronger than taking action towards getting a job and getting clean. So I think it would be fucking really hard to help or change Ratic by like one conversation. I mean, it's like King Croc. You saw this with King Croc too. We were all telling King Croc constantly how he could improve his life. He had great resources. Not only was he getting paid to be on the podcast and on shoots, we were lending him money whenever he needed it in an emergency situation with his car. He had like a great part-time job situation and so in support to on the side work another job and eventually get himself to a point where he was comfortably paying rent in a house. He had friends that hooked him up with a nice, cheap apartment in LA, which is not easy to find. And King Croc just eventually, his old ways got the better of him. So, yeah, I mean, we try, but people also have to demonstrate to me that they're willing to change. And right now, it doesn't seem like Ratic Ralph's ready to make any significant changes because, again, he's like, we pay him to be on shoots. I think he got like, he's probably made from the last couple of shoots, he's made $300 for me, and then Leo is paid him a little bit too. So, yeah, I mean, he's got an avenue to like make money and be a legitimate third mic on the podcast, but then he shows up to a show and a podcast out of his head on hard drugs, which we in no way indicated that that's what we wanted out of him, but he still did it anyway. So we'll see. Sorry if that was long-winded. What's up, Danny? What's up, Willie the Kid? Been watching you since 2019. Love from Wilmington, North Carolina. P.S. The girls here at UNCW give UCLA a run from their money. Tucker Max, who was in a lot of ways like my, I don't know, my vocabulary is a little tired right now. My predecessor, he sort of gave me permission to do the style of content I do, which is just like lifestyle based, but he did it in books back in the day. His theory was that University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill had the best chicks of any college anywhere. Wilmington, North Carolina, though, UNCW, Chapel Hill was his. But I believe it probably has the same demographics, like really skewed toward chicks versus guys, because that was Chapel Hill's thing. So that sounds dope, man. I have to see what my travel allowances are going to be like in 2024. I might have to check in with probation officers. Thankfully, I live in California. Thankfully, I didn't like just move to Nevada to dodge taxes because, I mean, there's an endless reservoir of content in California. Buds, we want long pods. Before you came back, they were about 2 hours. If we're following the Patreon pod, we want more quantity of pods. Yeah, Buds, I'm sorry. Yeah. I explained that a little bit earlier. I'm not sure if you caught it on the podcast, but yeah, I mean, my philosophy is that Leo and I can do a better pod in about an hour's time, concentrated, versus just doing like 2-hour pods and 2 of them a week. So yeah, I'm sorry, man, if that's not ideal, if you like the last ones better. Speaking of Tesla, did you see that Tesla recall after the new Netflix apocalypse movie, Leave the World Behind, where they hacked Teslas to crowd the bridges? No. Interesting. You think that was tied? You think that Tesla realized a flaw in its security after a Netflix movie pointed it out? I have to wee so fucking bad. And I'm trying to think of a solution to this. I can't really think of one. Okay, I'm going to push through it. Interesting. No, Russell, I have not made that connection. All right, Zacadelic. Love you, buddy. Later, man. Yeah, the weather is pretty nice right now, Angelique. A lot less air pollution, too, out here. It's a nice pre-winter's day. No problem, Beard. Beard wants more lives this time of day. Yeah, I almost never do them this early. This is definitely pretty unique. For you guys, it's like, it's not even 10 a.m. Interesting. Yeah, it's past noon out here on the East Coast. Jinx is complaining that anytime she tries to comment about RDR on here, the message comes out backwards. That's probably because RDR's name invokes stupidity in Google's technology. Linus, Patreon, aka Danny Mullen's personal whales. Yeah, well, IPAC clearly, I mean, he's a Solana whale. Whales. That'd be nice to be a fucking whale. Like a whale going to Vegas to gamble. I read the book Bringing Down the House and saw the movie 21 about the MIT blackjack team. It's a fucking good movie and a good book. The book is more based on reality, so it's probably more interesting. But yeah, there are Chinese whales, they call them, come to the casinos, and they will gamble with like $100,000 chips. They will gamble with $100,000 chips like you and I would gamble with $1 or $5 chips. It'd be nice to be a Chinese whale. Well, you'd have a small dick. So you got to ask yourself, fabulous wealth or an average sized penis? Which one matters more to you? I wonder if that guy who raped Mario, the German comedian we had on our podcast, I wonder if he goes to Vegas and they consider him a whale. He's probably more disciplined about not committing sex crimes out there because it's harder to bribe our government, probably. What's up, Mazzy? Good to see you in here, baby. Good to see Mazzy back. IPAC, thank you, man. Appreciate you, dude. Appreciate you, you fucking Solana whale. Russell, at least I had no wall time like RDR. Yeah, my jail was... Again, it was really uncomfortable in that jail as far as the amenities. But after watching this documentary last night, it was kind of a country club. Like, I cannot imagine any scenario by which I would have done wall time in that jail. It was pretty fucking chill. Papa Boat says, so if you're paying for my diabetes medication, does that mean I get a tax credit in the Agaramos Pinocha LLC? I think so. Papa Boat, if I see you again in person, I will definitely give you an Agaramos Pinocha LLC t-shirt. We did a really interesting video. So between me and you guys, we're going to take some time off where there's just going to be no videos because I wanted to step back and restructure some things as far as our workflow and how we're running the business and to stockpile some videos and to plan content pretty carefully for next year. And one of the last videos we shot, though, is we just went up to Fresno and we went to a town called Huron, which is, from all appearances, 100% immigrants. It was a really interesting little town. And they're all it's like a Christian utopia there. They're all very Mexican, not a word of English, all fruit pickers, but the nicest people. We didn't see any homeless people. Nobody was a fucking dick. Everybody wanted to be on video. And they were obsessed with Pinocha. They loved the Agaramos Pinocha shirt. We went to their Catholic church, and the lady who ran the church encouraged us to come in. And like they were praying for Pinocha at the altar. It was fucking unbelievable. But yeah, that'll be out in January. But yeah, Agaramos Pinocha is one of the most powerful phrases in the Spanish language because if you say it to any working class Mexican person, they will laugh. Like what's the equivalent of that in English? Dude, I have to go fucking wee-wee. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to go wee-wee. I'm taking the fucking laptop into the bathroom. We got to sort this out. I don't know how this is going to go, but it's getting to the point where I'm going to piss myself, and I think I'm out of clothes. So I don't want to piss myself before a flight. Oh. I'm just going to walk you through the lobby like we're not doing a live stream. My hair looks terrible. I look terrible. I need a haircut. Woo. Pool closed for the season. Dunkin' Donuts drive-through. And that basically takes 100% of the food I can eat off the table. I'm down to grass-fed steak, fruits and vegetables, and maybe pussy. Occasionally I can eat pussy. Okay. All right. Yeah, you're welcome, people. Not a lot of people get to watch me pee, except for my probation officer yesterday. I had to piss into a tube with a mirror showing the room my dick so they knew I didn't have a false penis. And the guy was big, burly, and probably had a big dick, and he was probably judging my little wee-wee. But hey, I passed the drug test, and that's what mattered. Leading up to this, I didn't know when I was going to get drug tested. I thought I might get drug tested, but I wasn't sure. But I still, on the safe side, abstained from using any marijuana products. And I'm glad I fucking did, because they drug tested me right away. This feels amazing. Oh, my God. Oh my God. I can't exaggerate how much I had to pee. I mean, it was 5 more minutes and I would have had a drenched crotch. By the way, Leo Diss Track is finished. I'm going to wait to send the link, though, till a more traditional live. Sure, Aiden, I appreciate that. Aiden, why don't you just upload it to YouTube, the audio to YouTube, and that'll definitely work. Russell had the Nair guy in the pod. That was hilarious. Thanks, man. Yeah, Russell, that is true. I can't deny the peanut butter and cock thing with dogs, that I have had a dog lick my penis with peanut butter. Angelique is wearing the mugshot merch right now. Thank you so much, Angelique. It's sweet, huh? The new merch is fucking dope. All the blanks are really high quality. And the hoodies in particular are like fucking so soft and they fit long torsos well. Where the old stuff we used to do was kind of shorter around the torso. All right. That was I'm not going to. My hands are and my penis is cleaner than these knobs, so I'm not going to touch those. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Let me get outside and we'll continue this.